So good morning, everyone. Let me just quickly tell you about the GitHub data to be fetched. So first of all of you are having an account on GitHub. That is point one. Point number two, all of you are aware about your GitHub username and the password. So what is the username? Username is the one which is displayed on the top right corner onto your GitHub homepage. Or email ID and the password. Both are okay. But please make sure you do not forget that. Next, till this point, I'm assuming everyone is having a Git account and GitHub account. So everyone need to sign in onto the GitHub so that you will just have your user ID over here. Point number two, all of you might have received an invitation. The invitation is sent on your email ID which you have given to us. So here you have been invited to collaborate on CJ011 repository. So what is CJ011? It is your batch code. Repository means the folder. Means we have sent you the invitation for Core Java batch 11 repository ka access rights. Right? Now, when you say accept or decline, or when you say view invitation, you will see either you can accept or you can decline. So when you say view invitation, it will take you to your GitHub. It will ask you to put some access or put some password. And once you put the password, please accept this invitation and you will be able to see CJ011 repository. Right? Now, what is repository? Repository is just like a folder, right? If you are not comfortable in commands, the easiest way, which you should never follow, the easiest way is you can click on this code and there is download button. What do you mean by download? Download will download all the content inside this particular repository. I have already uploaded day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 data. Today I will upload day 5 data. So if you are new to this, initially you can download this, but it's not a good practice. What happens with this download? Every day when you click on download, all the folders will get downloaded again and again. So what we do is we try to download updated data every day. So for that, the first software that you need to install is a Git Bash. So I have already shared this document. On page number 12, there is Git Bash installation steps. It is very easy. You just have to install these software. How to download? Again, go to this link. There is downloads button. Click on Windows, Mac or Linux. It will download this application on your system. I'll show you. Maybe in my softwares folder, I've kept it. Can you see here? This is Git which gets downloaded on your system. After that, you need to install this Git Bash. Again, the steps are mentioned. Double click onto that folder. Click on next, 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 next and finish. When you install this Git Bash, इसे हम बोलते हैं Git Bash. When you install this Git Bash, after that, I want to fetch the data. I want to take the data. So how do I go for? Somewhere in your system, you create a new folder. Whatever folder name you want to give. Maybe you want to give Sunbeam study material, whatever. Right? I'll click onto it. I have created a new folder. Right click within this folder, show more option, and you will see Git Bash here. So what is Git Bash? It is like a terminal where you can download a repository. Download a repository, or sometimes we say it is called as cloning a repository. Cloning means whatever copy is present onto this repository, everything will come onto your own system. So how I have proceeded? I have first created a project. I have first created a new folder somewhere into your D drive, E drive, wherever you wish. Right click, show more option, Git Bash here. This command will only come if you have installed Git Bash successfully. I'll click over here. Here you have to give a command. Which command? Git clone. Correct? Now when you say git and clone, at this moment, what you need to clone? You need to clone this repository. How to give a path? Please check. Again, when you click on this code, Can you see this notepad ki jaisa sign? This two thing, you can say square buttons. Just click on over here. It will say copied. What do you mean by copied? It means the path is being copied. So I'll just right click and I'll paste it. So you have to give a command git space clone space the URL, the path. Path कहाँ से लेना है? आपके repository में से लेना है. Just hit enter. It may ask you for the first time your GitHub username and the password. If it does not ask you, then it is okay. But if it is asking you, you have to put your username and the password. The data is cloned 100%. What do you mean by data is cloned? Just close the screen and can you see in my Sunbeam study material, CJO11 folder was created. Inside it, whatever data I have in my this repository, it is present in my folder. Right? Now, please make sure whenever you will get day 5 data, do you have to give the same command again and again? Answer is no. So what you can do is right click, show more option, git bash here and just type git pull. If you enter git pull, right now it is already up to date. So it will give you already up to date. But if when I'll push the data of day 5, आपको सिर्फ उस folder में जाना है, right click, show more option, git bash here and just type git and pull. So every day you do not have to clone the repository, you just have to type git pull. When you say git pull, it means it will just fetch the updated data. That is first point. The most important point is this material, you keep it for you as a future reference study material. If you want to practice something, right, please make sure do not practice on this data directly. You can create another folder into your system and write a practice folder. If you are working on day 4, so you create a day 4 practice folder over here. What you can do is go to day 4, source codes. आपके पास 4_2 code देखना है. Click on this source, open with this notepad, right? Open with this notepad and practice this code. Make sure you do not start editing the code into this repository. It means this data that you have downloaded, that you have cloned, do not touch that data, do not modify the data. Just keep it for your reference. If you really want to practice, then you can copy the code, type the code on your own and perform the task. Did you all understand how to fetch the data from Git? Perfect. Good. So let me just give you the day 5 agenda. Today is weekend, so tomorrow there won't be any lecture. Monday we will have a lecture, right? So day 5 agenda, I have explained you git bash and git clone process. Next, we will try to see what do you mean by the static in detail. We will see static member functions. We have already talked about it. We will see static fields within the class. We will talk about static import within the class. So that part was remaining. The field was remaining. Static initialization block is also remaining. And we will see what is import static and what is its need. So we have talked about static methods into the last class already. Then we will talk about array and enum, right? Now, please make sure you revise the things in this weekend properly because from Monday, the core components, core topics will get started. And I do not want to go back into the last topics again and again. So a genuine request, a homework for this weekend is revise everything which is taught in last 5 days. Otherwise, you will not understand any, you can say, topic into the next class because these things are basics of any programming language, right? So let us quickly see what we have seen into the last class. In the last class, I had talked about the memory picture of any object. We have seen how the memory is allocated, what is stack and what is the heap area. We have seen the concept of packages. If you are giving a package name, then for example, P1, P2 and so on, then those are called as named packages. If you talk about not giving any name to the package, those are called as unnamed package. For example, when you create any project, every file goes into the default package. So you can say default package is unnamed package. Have you practiced creating the module, this code packages का? Right. Are you gaining little confidence? Perfect. Now, in this case, if we have also talked about the reference copy, we have seen the concept of static methods in the program. In your program, in the class, you may have some methods. The methods which are called with the help of object name, they are called as instance methods. क्योंकि हम उन methods को instance की help से call करते हैं, that's why they are called as instance methods. And the methods which are basically called with the help of class name, those are called as static methods. I hope you remember what is instance method and what is static methods. Correct? Next, if you could also recollect one more important point, outside the main, I can have n number of classes and those classes can have combination of static and non-static. तो जो non-static methods थे उसे हमने object के through call किया था. Sum and subtract static methods थे उनको हमने class name के साथ call किया था. But another point that I have mentioned over here was, if your main and the other methods that you are accessing within the main, they must be declared as static. You cannot refer a static with a non-static method. That will give you a wrong reference in case of, you can say, static methods, right? So it is, if there is a same scope means सब कुछ मेरे day 4_13 में ही है. That's the reason I have drawn a box so that you can understand ये एक ही scope है, ये different scope है. Are we okay? Is it okay? Right. Next, static methods can be called with the help of class name. And that's what we have seen into the last lecture. Right? Now, if you really want to practice the concept of package, in the last class, I have shared a data of packages. I have talked about what do you mean by package, why do we create package, and so on. In the package, you may have another package, you may have interface, class, enum, exception, error, and annotation type. So we can say package consists of different types. Till this point, you all have created only a class within the package. That's it. Rest all we will create gradually. I have explained you, when you want to create a package, on whichever class belongs to the package, then you should write a statement package and the name of the package. One class cannot belong to two different packages. That's what I have mentioned. You cannot say, let my class belong to P1, let my class belong to P2, then this is not okay. So with the help of keyword package, your compiler will understand my class belong to this particular package. And if you want to use the package, you use something called as import statement. And there is, if you are giving a name to the package, those are called as named packages. So if we say, I have not defined anything, that is called as unnamed package, which is nothing but default package. तो कल तक पैकेज नहीं पता था तो आपके सारे क्लासेस unnamed package में जा रहे थे. But now you know, when you are creating a project, it's always a good practice to create a package. Correct? Next, naming conventions are basically followed with the help of packages by using dot and so on. Either you give sunbeam.p1package.employee, any project with respect to any project name you can give. Normally, it is given with a dot symbol and segregated by different words. Correct? Now, yesterday we have seen two different examples of packages. One, package 1 was created having two files. Another package P1 and P2 are created having two separated files. Where we have also seen what happens when you create a public access specifier to the class, what happens when you do not specify the public access specifier to the class. I hope you remember all these points. Yes or no? Perfect. Now, let us say in this scenario, you are, if you really want to practice, correct, then util.scanner कब लिखना है, util.star कब लिखना है, that everything I have explained into the last class. But if you really want to practice, then you can have this kind of scenario. मैंने आपको यहाँ पे कुछ examples दिए हैं. That means create a project complex test, create a package name called as source, have a complex.java and program.java. Normally, जब भी आप main लिखते हो, उसे हम tester बोलते हैं, which is used for testing. So you can define a tester function separately in Java file and you can perform the job. If you want to practice the concept of packages, you can practice by referring this diagram, where you can see here, I have given few more examples. This is one complex test package having 2 files over here. This is another complex test project having 2 files, but here I have different packages. If you really would like to practice this, you can go for these examples. The solution are also there into this slides only, right? Will you please revise the concept of packages from the slides and create the packages? Perfect. Now, let us say I'll give you one practice question for tomorrow. Practice question, which is based on packages. As you have holiday tomorrow, you can practice this question, correct? So, I want to create 2 packages. One is package P1 and another is package P2. I'll just give you the skeleton so that आपको बाद में implementation easy जाएगा. P1 and package P2. Within this package P1, I want to create a student file. So maybe I'll have student.java, where you can have ID, name, age, maybe email ID, and so on. Here, I need getters, setters, constructor, and I need something called as toString, and so on. Next, I want one more package, one more class, student utility dot java. Maybe here I'm having 2 more fields, which is marks 1, M1, M2, and M3. 3 subject marks. And I'll say grade, or maybe I'll say average. So these fields are there in student.java. And when I say student utility, I want to write a except function, void except, in this class, void display in this class, and calculate average into this class. So you have to write 3 different functions, but not in the same student class. आपको student functional के utilities को भी अलग करना है, क्योंकि normally the standard practice is first when you define the class, you define its skeleton in one particular Java file, and that's how is the first step. Second, you define the utility.java, जिसे हम normally utils भी बोलते हैं. Why we say so? It is because it is used for having functionality with respect to the student class. And P2, I need a tester.java. Now, normally, when you go for a main function, it is also called as a tester function. So, have you understood? I'll just save it first. Practice question on packages. Did you all understand the question? That's the first point. Right. अब आपको ये implement करने आएगा क्या? Will you please try to implement it? Right. Good. So, I want everyone to implement this code. If you will implement this code, तो आपकी last 5 days का preparation हो जाएगा या revision हो जाएगा. Right? ठीक. So, right. So Vedant is saying constructor is implicit call. Yes, it is because when you create an object of the class, constructor is called automatically. When you say I'm printing the object behind the scene, when you are printing the object, a toString method is called on its own. It is also called as an implicit calling. But if you write emp or object name dot toString method, it means you are explicitly calling it. If you are mentioning the object name dot method name, it is explicit call. If some method gets called automatically, then it is implicit call. Is it okay? All right. So few students were asking me about the, you can say, the practice question. I've given you one more practice question. Is it fine? Assuming everyone will do it. Java is always little bit difficult than Python. So it needs a lot of practice. Let us come to the next point, which is called as static fields. Correct? So let us say I'm having one class test. Correct? Inside the class test, I'm having one private integer num1. I'm having one private integer num2. And let us assume I'm declaring one private static integer s. If you can observe over here, num1 is a non-static field. Num2 is a non-static field. And s is the static field. How did you recognize? It is because the variable s is having a keyword called as static. Correct? Now, next point. In this case, whenever you are trying to have any field in the class declared as static, you say it's a static field. Correct? Now, everyone knows that. Can you please quickly tell me what is line number 9? It is parameter-less constructor. When you have a parameter-less constructor, in the constructor, can I say fields of the constructor, fields of the class will get initialized? Correct. Here, do you remember fields of the class gets the space, right? Gets the space in the heap area. Right. Next, I'll show you. So heap area में उसे जगह मिलेगी. But what about the static field? They actually, आप उसे actually data section बोलते थे. यहाँ पे हम उसे method area या data section बोल सकते हो. Data segment भी बोल सकते हो. So it means they will receive the space in the separate memory area. Why it is so? It is because static fields retain their last updated value. हमेशा स्टैटिक फील्ड का डेटा परसिस्टेंट रहता है, इसलिए हम उसे स्टैटिक डिक्लेयर करते हैं. Now, let us say in my test constructor, I'm not assigning anything. Can you please tell me here num1 and num2 will be basically 0 and 0. Next, I'm writing test integer num1, integer num2. This is parameterized constructor, right? Where I'm assigning this dot num1, this dot num2 is equal to num2, right? So here, I'm just trying to print void display. And I'll say system.out.println, num1 is equal to plus num1. That means num1 and num2 are going to get the space inside the object. So I'll say this dot num1 and this dot num2, right? Let us quickly first go ahead with num1 and num2. I'll say test t1 is equal to new test. I'm passing 5,4 t1 dot display. When you execute this code, I'm getting the num1 value and I'm getting the num2 value. This is as same as we have seen this many times. Correct? Now, if I'm saying static variable is just declared, can you see in this scenario, I have not initialized static inside the constructor. Do you agree? Right. The reason over here is, if I'm saying I have created a T1 object where I am saying it is going to go in the constructor. अब अगर मैं लिखती हूं यहाँ पे s is equal to this dot s is equal to s. Can you see a warning? It is saying the static field should be accessed in a static way. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, कंस्ट्रक्टर में गया, स्टैटिक फील्ड अपडेट हो गई. दूसरा ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, फिर से स्टैटिक फील्ड इनिशियलाइज हो गई. थर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, फिर से स्टैटिक फील्ड इनिशियलाइज हो गई. Can we initialize the static field n number of times in our programs? No. What is the rule? Static fields must be initialized only once throughout the life cycle of the program. Right? And that's what is the need. So can I say, if I write here in the constructor, the number of times I'm creating the object, my static field will get initialized again and again. And is it a good programming practice? Obviously, no. Right? So now, if I'm not able to access, not able to initialize the static field within the constructor. Next point. अगर मैं यहाँ पे क्लास में ही लिखती हूँ s is equal to 50, is it a correct statement? No. या तो आप उस क्लास के फील्ड्स को किसी मेथड के अंदर लिख सकते हो, या तो आप उसे ऑब्जेक्ट के थ्रू कॉल कर सकते हो. आप डायरेक्टली फील्ड्स को ऐसे तो इनिशियलाइज नहीं कर सकते. करेक्ट? सो हियर कम्स another part which is called as static initialization block. So what is static initialization block? It is basically preceded with a keyword called as static, and this is called as static initialization block. In this case, I'll just write S is equal to, maybe I'll say 80. So what is the use of static initialization block? As the name says, initialization, it is used to initialize the values to static fields. Did you all get? Everyone? Have you understood up to this point? So what is the correct location to define or to initialize the static field? The correct location is to call them in the static initialization block. Are we okay? Yes or no? Right. Next point. If you write S is equal to 80, it is also okay. Or if you write, this is valid. Or if you write here, test.s is equal to 80, this is also valid. Do you understand why I have written test.s? Because static fields are accessed with the help of class name. Are we okay? तो अगर मेरे पास मल्टीपल क्लासेस है, उसमें मल्टीपल स्टैटिक फील्ड्स है, तो उन सबको मैं पहली बार इनिशियलाइज कहां पे करूंगी? स्टैटिक इनिशियलाइजेशन ब्लॉक में करूंगी. Okay? Are we okay? All right. Here, I'll just put a statement calling parameterless constructor, right? I'm just assigning some fields. Num1 is equal to 1. This dot num2 is equal to 1. Right. Next, I'll write a statement calling parameterized constructor. And here I'll write a statement inside static initialization block. Right? Now, next point. Please observe. Suppose I'm writing system.out.println value of variable s is equal to test.s. Can you see this? I have tried to access s variable using the class name. Correct? Is it okay? Right. So can I conclude over here few points? The point is non-static fields can be accessed using object. This use किया मतलब object use किया. Do you agree? Right. And static fields can be accessed using class name. Are you able to understand these two concluding points? Yes or no? All right. Next point. Let us say, first of all, I'll create test T1 is equal to new test. Can you please tell me, in this scenario, which constructor will be called? The constructor which will be called is parameter less constructor. Perfect. So I'm saying T1.display. Quickly tell me, in this case, num1 and num2, what values will be assigned? 1 and 1. And what will be the value assigned to S, which is 80. Perfect. Next point. When I say test T2 is equal to new test, in this case, I am passing some parameters 25 and 15. Which constructor will be called? Parameterized constructor will be called. Having the value 25 and 15, so it is going to display num1 25, num2 15. What about the S variable? It will be 80. Why? Because I have not modified anywhere the variable called as S. Perfect. At this moment, let us try to first execute the code and check the output properly. Can you see first line? Right. From where it came? It came from the static initialization block, right? So here, I'll write a statement. The static initialization block gets called at the time of class loading. Most commonly asked interview question. What is the need of static initialization block and at what point it gets called? The need of static initialization block is to initialize the static fields of the class. And why, at what point of time it gets called? It gets called at the time of class loading. You can say, जब मेरा class test load होता है, पहले object नहीं बनता है, पहले स्टैटिक इनिशियलाइजेशन ब्लॉक कॉल हुआ, बाद में आपने ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किए हैं T1 T2 एंड कैन यू सी द स्टेटमेंट्स नाउ? दैट्स द रीजन आई पुट सम स्टेटमेंट्स. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? Have you understood the flow of the execution of a program? Yes or no? All right. Perfect. Next. Good. वॉइड एक्सेप्ट लिखना ऑप्शनल है क्या? यस, एक्सेप्ट लिखना ऑप्शनल है. मैंने सिर्फ कंस्ट्रक्टर के थ्रू डेटा डिस्प्ले किया है, इनिशियलाइज किया है. Yes, you can modify S. I'll prove that point also. But let me go ahead with the step-by-step process. Is it okay? Did you all get up to this point? Perfect. It is not compulsory कि एक क्लास में एक ही स्टैटिक फील्ड होना चाहिए. एक क्लास में मल्टीपल स्टैटिक फील्ड्स भी हो सकते हैं. I will take that example also. Please do not worry. All right. Shall we go ahead? All right. Please understand. Whenever you are accessing the static field, you should write class name because class names, the static fields are designed to be called upon the class name in a static way. Okay. Class loading occurs at the time of object creation. Can you see on line number 51? I've written test. And what does it mean? I'm using this class test. It will search your class test. Okay, here it is. It will see, do I have any static initialization block? Oh, yes, I have over here. So that's the reason it got printed first. And then I have written a statement T1. Is it okay? Is it okay? Everyone. All right. Now, shall I proceed little ahead so that you will, so that you can easily understand the one more example? Perfect. But here, let us assume, I'll just make little modification. Let us assume I'm writing something where we will go for update the static field data. Let us say I'll write void update where I'm saying test.s plus is equal to 10. Have I tried to modify the static data? Correct. Next point. Let us say, in this case, when I try to display T1, it have given me 1, 1 and 80. Do you agree? That's what we have got as output. Right. At this moment, we have got 25, 15 and 80. Let us say I am giving a call to the update function. Maybe I'm saying T2.update. Right? When I have said T2.update, at this moment, when I try to print T2.display, quickly tell me what will be the values now? 25, 50 and 90. Perfect. Next, suppose I'm saying T1.display once again. What will be the values now? 1, 1 and 90. Can you see the output? So the one who have asked me, can you update the static field? Yes, you can update the static field and it will get reflected in all the objects whoever is pointing. कुछ समझ में आया? तो मैंने T1 के थ्रू चेंज नहीं किया था, मैंने T2 के थ्रू चेंज किया था, बट चेंज कहां पे हुआ? T1 में भी हुआ, बिकॉज स्टैटिक fields gets updated only once. Whoever have updated, that doesn't matter, but it will receive the last updated value. Shareable data. Perfect. Abhijit, I have given a call to T2.update. So where it will go? It will go in the update function. It will see, oh, there's a S variable having a 10 addition. Is it similar to test.s is equal to test.s plus 10? So test.s was having 80 and plus 10 is 90. I hope you are awake. Once again, if you call t1.update and then you say, let me just print t2.display and t1.display. What will be the value now? 100. Let us execute. Can you see the output? All right, good. Quickly look into the code and then we will go ahead by modifying this code as a next example. Is it okay? All right. Let us talk about next point. Shall we go ahead? Theek. I'll just create a new project. Can you please tell me day5_1.java is in which package? Is in which package? Default package. Default package is also called as unnamed package. Guys, please make sure आप यहाँ पे default package बोल रहे हो, it is unnamed. Java में हर एक फाइल के अंदर कौन सा पैकेज बाय डिफॉल्ट ऐड होता है? प्लीज लिसन टू माय क्वेश्चन. जावा में हर एक प्रोजेक्ट में कौन सा पैकेज बाय डिफॉल्ट लोड होता है? java.lang package. I hope you remember, you are understanding the difference. Because I've got the answers as java.lang. Have I asked you which package by default gets loaded into your files? No. I have asked a question. What is the name of the package by default when you create a class in Java? So the answer should be default package. Perfect. Good. Shall I proceed? Now, someone is asking what is a need of static field. Now, I'll show you one diagram which is there on your slides. Somewhere in this. Check it out. Can you see here? Suppose I am having one test class, num1, num2, num3, num1, num2, num3, num1, num2, and num3. But if I say, in my test class, I just want to change num1 and num2 value. I want to go for the third field, which is 500 every time. Maybe in future, I want to change this value as 600 everywhere. So instead of me changing the data, t1.num3 is equal to 600, t2.num3 is equal to 600, t3.num3 is equal to 600, this will be a tedious job for me. Rather, what I can say, I will maintain one common field, num3. And I want to share this field with all the objects into my program. In that case, I will go for the field which is static field. Have you understood what is the meaning of static field? Now, I'll give you a practical example. Suppose I'm an employee of Sunbeam, right? There are, let us say, another 500 employees of Sunbeam, correct? At this moment, when I joined Sunbeam, तो मेरे personal data में organization Sunbeam रहेगा क्या? Yes, of course. Next, when I say if some other person have joined Sunbeam, तो उसका भी organization Sunbeam रहेगा क्या? Of course, yes. If suppose, can I say my data is one object data and the other person who have joined the data is another object data? Right. But suppose at some point of time, I'm saying whenever the new employee is coming, I want to keep the organization field as a Sunbeam. Correct? Now, after some time, I have realized, no, I want to give the organization name as Sunbeam Infotech. So if I am having different objects, I have to make the changes in all the objects individually. कि अक्षता के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सनबीम इन्फोटेक आना चाहिए, द अदर पर्सन के फील्ड में, ऑब्जेक्ट के फील्ड में सनबीम इन्फोटेक आना चाहिए. Will it, if I have 500 employees, do I have to write 500 lines of code just to change a single field? Yes. But if I have a static field, अगर एक पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट के थ्रू मैंने स्टैटिक फील्ड को चेंज किया, क्या वो फील्ड सारे ऑब्जेक्ट में रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाएगी? ऑफ कोर्स यस. एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज अ नीड ऑफ स्टैटिक फील्ड. हैव यू नाउ अंडरस्टूड एवरीवन? Shareable data. This will not lead any ambiguity because I know in my पर्टिकुलर क्लास, लेट अस से सनबीम का एक क्लास एम्प्लॉय है, मुझे पता है कि जितने भी एम्प्लॉयज आने वाले हैं उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कभी चेंज नहीं होगा. I know that requirement because we are the developers. We should understand the requirement and then develop the code. So this will not create an ambiguity. Are you okay? Hope you have understood now. Everyone, you have to understand the requirement of a project and then you implement it. मेरे प्रोजेक्ट में एम्प्लॉय नाम के क्लास में हर एक पर्सन का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का जो फील्ड है वो सबका शेयरेबल होना चाहिए बिकॉज उनका नाम सेम ही आने वाला है. तो मैं क्यों हर एक ऑब्जेक्ट में उसे फील्ड दूंगी, स्पेस क्यों दूंगी? इट इज ऑल्सो बेसिकली गोइंग टू वेस्ट अ मेमोरी फॉर इट. Right now, I do not want to waste a memory. I want to keep one shareable data, which is nothing but name of the organization. Have you now understood what is the actual need of static field and when to go for a static field? I've given you a practical example today. Correct? Perfect. Next point. So that's the reason we say static fields. Normally हम उसे data section बोलते हैं, लेकिन data section भी actually कौन से part का area है? Method area का. So if you want to share the value of any field, inside the instance of the same class, we should declare the field as static. Have you understood? All right. Now, let us say I'm writing one more example. I'll close this project. Day 5_2 finish. One more time, I'm having a class test, having one integer num1 and integer num2, and I have one static integer num3. Let us try to generate setters for it. So I'll just say source. I hope you remember generate getters and setters. I just want setters. I'll say generate. Can you observe properly, which says that set num was a non-static field. Automatically उसने void दिया, num1 पास किया, current object में num1 set कर दो. Set num2, I have written set num2, and here I have specified setters for it. Yes, you can create this as private, and normally हम setters and getters तब ही लिखते हैं. Good point. Next, if you can observe set num3, in this case, num3 has been set. Can you please observe once again, num1 and num2 was non-static field. Num2 is also non-static field. Num3 is the static field. Here, num1 is a set within the non-static method, जिसे आप instance method भी बोलते हो, जिसे आप concrete method भी बोलते हो. Here also, setting of num2 is a non-static method. It is instance method, or sometimes we say it is a concrete method. And what about this? This is a static method. It is also called as class level method. So if you are trying to access the static fields of the class, it is always a good practice. It is always a good practice to go ahead with the static methods. Are you okay? यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Did you all get it? Perfect. Next point. Here, if I want to call setter for set num1, obviously I have to create object of this. So I'll say obj dot set num1 and I'm passing some 25 value. Obj dot set num2, I'm passing the value as 35. And if I want to give a call to num3, I'm just setting it as num3. I hope you understand this. Someone is saying, अगर मैंने यहाँ पे this लिखा, is it okay? It is going to give you a Java C error. The reason over here is this num3 is a static field and static fields cannot be designed on the object name. So you will receive the error. If you want to set the static field, write this data with this. I hope you have understood. Static fields are designed to be called upon the class name. Static methods are designed to be called upon the, you can say, class name, right? So let us say I have a method void print record. I'll say system.out.println. Maybe I'm printing num1 plus num1. How do I access num1? Normally using this. num2, num3. This dot num2 and num3 लिखो. Sorry, what is that? num3 लिखो या फिर this dot num3 चलेगा क्या? नहीं चलेगा. या फिर test dot num3 लिखो. Is it okay? सिर्फ num3 भी लिखा तो भी चलेगा. The reason is क्लास के अंदर का ही वेरिएबल है. आप उसको विदाउट ऑब्जेक्ट नेम भी कॉल कर सकते हो. सेम ही स्कोप में है, राइट? So I have not given a call to this function. Print record, no? ठीक है. obj dot print record. Let's execute. Are you okay? Have you understood up to this point? Yes or no? Perfect. Next. Day 5 underscore 3. I'll say right click new and class. अगर मैं यहाँ पे day 5 underscore 3 इस क्लास में बनाती हूँ तो पैकेज का नाम क्या जाएगा? What is the package name that it will take? Name of the package will be default package. You can specify the package over here also. Let us say P1. Can you see the पहले अगर P1 नहीं लिखा था तो it was giving me the default package is discouraged. You can assign here a package name P1 and say finish. This is also absolutely okay. On its own आपका package बन जाएगा. On its own वो 5 underscore 3 में data चला जाएगा. Someone was asking me about this. I have explained it. Did you all get? While creating the class, you can also specify the package name. It will automatically create it. Okay? Is it okay? All right. You can write public static field and so on. Next point. Let us assume I have num1 and I have num2. Correct? I'm saying void except where I'm writing scanner sc is equal to new and let us say मैंने यहाँ पे एक scanner नाम का वेरिएबल भी बनाया. Correct? And I'll say here maybe system.out.println. Let me first create it over here. sc is equal to new scanner system.in. I'm writing enter num1 sc.next int. It will put this into num1. Similarly, I'll go for num2. That's what is my next example. Let me just complete this first. Let us say I'll write a display function. Correct? And I'm just trying to print num1 value and num2 value. In this case, if you can quickly observe and tell me, look at the code at your end, how many methods are there in the class day5 underscore 3? कितने मेथड्स है? 3 methods. Perfect. Next point. If I want to give a call to accept function, correct? How will I give a call? I have to create object of the class. ठीक है, अगर ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ द क्लास बोलती हूँ तो मुझे day5_3 नाम का ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा, इनसाइड विच, इनसाइड द मेन, और मेरे मेन का भी स्कोप सेम है. डू यू अग्री? राइट. So can you please say, tell me, if I just give a call to accept function and display function, will it work? No. The reason is main is static, accept and display are non-static. I have one option. मैं उसी क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट बनाऊंगी तो then it will be okay. पर मुझे उस क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं बनाना है, मुझे उस मेथड्स को स्टैटिक बनाना पड़ेगा. That is the easiest way. So can I say static over here? Static over here. I'm saying the scope is same. That's why. Is the error is gone on line number 25 and 26? Are you okay? Are you there understanding the things properly so that I can proceed? Perfect. But as soon as I have made accept function as a static, it immediately gave me the error on the line number 14, 16 and 20. Read this. Line number 14 says, cannot make a static reference to non-static field num1. That means मेरा मेथड अगर स्टैटिक है, स्कोप भी अगर सेम है, सब कुछ एक ही क्लास के अंदर है, तो इट इज फोर्सिंग मी टू मेक num1 as static. So I will make this num1 as a static. I will make this num2 as a static. The reason is I have accept, display and main. They all belong to the same scope. Previous scenario में उनका scope अलग था. Have you understood why it have given me num1 and num2? Make it as static. Yes, of course. Is the error gone? Yes, it is gone. Did you all get up to this point? Everyone? Next point. Whenever you declare the static fields, I shall write a static initialization block just to initialize the fields. So can I say num1 I'm assigning as 5, num2 I'm initially assigning as 5. Will it initialize both the static fields as 5 and 5 as the initial values? Yes. So when I try to display the data, it is going to give me 5 and 5. When I accept new data, it is going to change those values and give me the answer. Let us try to first give a call to display, then accept, then again display. So you will understand the difference. So can you see num1 and num2 is 5 and 5? I'm going to change as 30 and I'm going to change this as 20. Is it updated now? Yes. You have to understand, अगर आपकी main का scope, class का scope and उसके methods का scope same है, तो उसकी वजह से we have created the methods as static. If you make the methods as static and their scope is same as your main scope, you have to go for all the static fields. So static initialization block is used to initialize the static fields. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Yes or no? Perfect. The warning on line number 18 is for scanner object SC. It is saying there's a memory leak क्योंकि हमने object बनाया उसे close नहीं किया. If you want to remove that warning, you can just write sc.close. The warning will go off. It will close that object. But right now, I'm not coming to that point close. Let the warning be there. जब मैं आपको closable बताऊंगी तब मैं बताऊंगी कि इस warning को कैसे remove करते हैं. ठीक है? All right. Now, please make sure in this scenario, अब suppose मेरे पास एक और मेथड है. मे बी आई एम जस्ट राइटिंग void डेमो मेथड. अब इस डेमो मेथड में आई नीड टू एक्सेप्ट सम नेम, सम स्ट्रिंग नेम और समथिंग. कैन आई से मुझे फिर से स्कैनर ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा? डू यू अग्री? यस और नो? डू यू अग्री? यस. सपोज मेरे पास एक और मेथड है, एक्सेप्ट सम अदर डेटा. डू आई हैव टू क्रिएट वन स्कैनर ऑब्जेक्ट वंस अगेन? बिकॉज यहाँ पे तो ये लोकल ऑब्जेक्ट हो गया ना. करेक्ट. So if I do not want to create object again and again, If I'm just writing scanner SC over here, can you please tell me what is SC at this point? It is a reference. Perfect. Thank you. Here it is a static field. Here it is a static field. Here it is a reference, but it is a field also. Is it okay? Do you all agree with me? Correct. So in short, जब मैं यहाँ पे स्टेटमेंट नहीं लिखती तो मैं यहाँ पे sc.nextInt उतना ही मुझे लिखना है. तो कहना से मुझे sc को इनिशियलाइजेशन तो करना पड़ेगा. करेक्ट. अगर इनिशियलाइजेशन करना है तो फील्ड कौन सा रहेगा? फील्ड्स को इनिशियलाइज कैसे करते हैं? कंस्ट्रक्टर में. तो अगेन मुझे कंस्ट्रक्टर लगेगा day5_3 एंड उसमें मुझे sc इज इक्वल टू न्यू स्कैनर system.in ऐसा लिखना पड़ेगा. डू यू अग्री? राइट. बट एट दिस मोमेंट अगर मेरा ये जो फील्ड का sc इज इक्वल टू system.in है, कंस्ट्रक्टर में स्पेसिफाई किया, बाकी के सारे फील्ड्स मेरे स्टैटिक वेरिएशन में है, तो कैन यू प्लीज टेल मी sc आई एम एक्सेसिंग विद इन एक्सेप्ट फंक्शन. Except is a static method. That means, can I say I have to declare this field as static because their scope is same? अगर ये static है तो मैं constructor में define नहीं कर सकती. It's like linked with each other. Correct? So can I say this is a static reference field? Correct? Next. Now the point over here is, why this? Yeah. Now the point over here is, if I have declared a static reference field, where do I initialize it? Obviously, static fields को initialization के लिए हम कौन सा block use करते हैं? Static initialization block. Can I write here new scanner system.in? Yes, of course. तो ये मेरा initial block scanner object पूरे life cycle of the program में कितनी बार initialize होगा? Only once. Will it save the memory space? Of course, yes. Have you now understood the need of static reference क्या होता है? And when to go for static reference variable and static objects? Perfect. Good. So SC object will be in a shareable mode, whoever is going to go for. Yes, someone have written a concluding point. If you have a separate class, it can have a combination of static and non-static methods. But if you have a one class in which you have a main, तो मेन के क्लास में जितने भी मेथड्स आप डिक्लेयर कर रहे हो और आप उन मेथड्स को एक्सेस मेन में कर रहे हो, तो आपके मेथड्स स्टैटिक डिक्लेयर करने पड़ेंगे. ट्रू. इज इट ओके? आर द पॉइंट्स क्लियर विद द स्टैटिक? ऑल राइट. गुड. शैल आई गो अहेड? परफेक्ट. नाउ लेट अस स्टैटिक रेफरेंस फील्ड अपडेट कर सकते हो. अगर आपने SC इज इक्वल टू न्यू स्कैनर कहा तो ऑब्वियसली वो स्कैनर ऑब्जेक्ट को पॉइंट करेगा. आपको ये स्कैनर क्लास का रेफरेंस बनाया तो आपका ऑब्जेक्ट भी स्कैनर टाइप का ही क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा ना. अपडेट मीन्स आई एम नॉट गेटिंग. अगर आपने एम्प्लॉय EMP बनाया तो EMP इज इक्वल टू न्यू एम्प्लॉय लिखा तो चलेगा, फिर बाद में आगे चल के आपने अपडेट किया तो दैट विल गेट अपडेटेड. बट हियर देयर इज नो स्कोप ऑफ अपडेटिंग अ स्कैनर क्लास. करेक्ट? राइट. ऑल राइट. नाउ let us take one scenario. I am going to create a bank account. Correct? Now, in the bank account, I have name, I have ID, I have email ID, I have mobile number, I have a balance field, I have account number. Correct? Maybe I've taken a loan, so I have a rate of interest, right? And maybe I have a bank IFSC code, and so on. Correct? I'm just taking one or two examples. Now, if I'm saying I have created a customer object C1, customer object C2, and customer object C3. Can I say when I create a customer object C1, this is going to have all the fields? Yes or no? Perfect. Next point. Listen very carefully. This is a concept which you can represent in case of interviews. Now, suppose in the year 2022, the rate of interest, the bank have set as a 7%. Correct? Right. तो क्या ये 7% rate of interest सारे कस्टमर्स के लिए एलिजिबल होगा? ऑफ कोर्स यस. In the 2023, suppose the rate of interest, they have set it as 7.5. तो क्या वो सारे कस्टमर्स के लिए चेंज होना चाहिए? Of course, yes. So can you please tell me, and assuming ये सारे कस्टमर्स एक ही बैंक ब्रांच के कस्टमर्स है, they all belong to one single bank only. तो can you please tell me, in this case, rate of interest जो field है, the rate of interest field must be declared as static. Very nice. Perfect. Now, next point. If I'm saying for all these customers, is the rate of interest is going to be changed at some point of time? Right. तो कब 7.5 कभी 7, बट वो शेयरेबल डेटा रहेगा, इसलिए मैं उसे स्टैटिक बनाऊंगी. करेक्ट? नाउ नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. लेट अस से in this scenario, IFSC code for every customer, will it be same or will it be different? Obviously, अगर ये सारे कस्टमर सेम ही बैंक ब्रांच से बिलोंग करते हैं तो उनका IFSC कोड 100% सेम रहेगा. तो कैन यू प्लीज टेल मी, अब IFSC कोड्स को भी मैं कौन सी फील्ड करके डिक्लेयर करूंगी? स्टैटिक. परफेक्ट. नाउ if you consider the IFSC code, is it going to be changed every day or maybe after 6 months, after 2 months? No, क्योंकि बैंक तो उधर की उधर ही रहेगा, लोकेशन उधर ही रहेगा, IFSC कोड उसका ऐसे का ऐसे ही रहेगा. Is it going to change? No. It means I want this IFSC code as a constant for all the customers. I do not want this field to be changed by anyone. In that case, I will create this as static and final field. So normally, if you know, as far as your application is concerned, the value of static field is not going to change, then declare that field as a static final field. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? Have you understood when to go for static and when to go for static final? Perfect. And can you see name, ID, email, mobile balance, account number? ये सबका change होने वाला है. So in that case, can I say all these fields will be the normal fields, non-static fields? Perfect, because they are going to change with this. So static and final इन दोनों में मैंने आपको difference बताया. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? So यहाँ पे मैंने वही points mention किया है. Somewhere static field is also called as class variable. Non-static field is instance variable. Static field gets once per class using the class loading. Instance variable is used using object reference. Class level variables can be accessed using the object reference, and they are using class name and the dot operator. I have talked about static initialization block. I have talked about instance initializer, means you can just put some fields if you want to initialize. जैसे final को हमने उधर ही declare किया था, so that you can do. After that, I have also talked about if you are trying to access the static methods, they are also called as class level methods. They are not designed to be called on the instance. It will give you some warning. We have talked about static methods, static fields. Any doubts till this point? Right. अगर someone is asking, अगर आप IFSC कोड को चेंज नहीं करने वाले हो तो उससे सिर्फ फाइनली डिक्लेयर करते थे, स्टैटिक क्यों डिक्लेयर किया? नाउ अगर फाइनल डिक्लेयर करती हूं तो क्या मेरे IFSC कोड, लेट अस से आप डिक्लेयर्ड इट एज इंटीजर, तो C1 में 4 बाइट्स लेगा, C2 में 4 बाइट्स, C3 में 4 बाइट्स. डू यू अग्री? अगर मेरे पास 1000 कस्टमर्स है तो 4000 बाइट्स ऑफ मेमोरी वेस्ट जाएगा, तो इससे बेटर मैं उसे स्टैटिक बनाऊंगी, एक ही शेयरेबल मेमोरी आएगा. आर यू गेटिंग प्रज्वल? एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस लगेगा. ट्रू. गुड. राइट. सो इफ यू डिक्लेयर अ फील्ड एज फाइनल, इन दैट केस यू, अगर आपने उस फाइनल फील्ड को स्टैटिक बनाया है तो ऑब्वियसली उसे इनिशियलाइजेशन यू कैन से ब्लॉक में लिख सकते हो. इज इट ओके? If you make a static methods as a public, definitely you can access that methods. कोई भी method को अगर आप public लिखते हो, you can access it outside the class. Right? Can you please see? Here it was a outfield. याद है कुछ outfield? मैंने सिखाया है आपको? Yes or no? Where it is used? Where it is used? In println statement. What is out? It is used for printing the data on the output screen. Is it dealing with your output stream? Which is the standard output stream? For every object, standard output screen is your monitor, your console, correct? So can I say it should be shared among all? तो अभी समझ में आया आउटफील्ड को स्टैटिक क्यों बनाया गया है कि कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट ने सिस्टम डॉट आउट डॉट प्रिंटलन किया, सबके लिए मेरे पास एक कॉमन कंसोल है which is shared. Right. Is my output stream is ever going to change? No. So can you see it is declared as static final? I hope now you are able to understand this complete syntax. That's why I told you, trust me, you will get to know. Give me few days, you will get to know the details of each and every point. Are we okay? Because few things I cannot teach it on day one. मैं day one पे आपको static and final बताती थी तो शायद आपको ही नहीं समझ में आता था, right? It is shared. Even though there are two monitors, it is shared. Ultimately, who is the output stream? For both the monitors, console is the output screen. फिर आपको एक मॉनिटर पे लो या दूसरे मॉनिटर पे लो, अल्टीमेटली इट इज शेयर्ड. मॉनिटर 1 will be object 1, monitor 2 will be object 2. Correct? Right. Perfect. Shall I go ahead? Shall I go ahead? All right. The last point, which is static import, right? I'll just create a new file, day5 underscore 4, and I'll go ahead. I'm not creating packages. क्योंकि if I start creating packages again, जब आप revise करोगे तो आपको day5 underscore 4 source p1 and then you will get the .java file. Let it be in default package because I have only one small programs today. ठीक. Let us go to somewhere in java.lang, and in java.lang you have a package which is called as a math. In java.lang package you have a class which is called as math class. Okay. Now in this math class, can you please tell me math class का super class कौन है? Object. Perfect. Are you able to understand this much part? Correct. Math class को final करके declare किया गया है. ऐसा क्यों? Because you cannot inherit the math class. Are we okay? It cannot be extended. Perfect. Next, can you see math class fields E and pi? Are they static or non-static? They are static. It means अगर मुझे pi को access करना है, तो what shall I write? Math.pi. Do you agree? All right, let's try then. If I write system.out.println and I say pi value is equal to math.pi, do I have to import java.lang.math over here? No. The reason is java.lang is already there in your project. Perfect. Next, let us observe methods. If you can observe all the methods, are they all declared as static? Yes. You can check here also. Static methods. All the methods are static. Any concrete methods? Again, it is showing all the static methods. Can you see this? Everyone. It means if I want to give a call to any method from the math class, I shall have, you can say, class name dot method name. Do you agree? Perfect. So I'll say, let us go for some method. Maybe I'll pass we will go for some methods which are understood by you. Let us say max function or min function. Max is taking different arguments. Maybe you can find double and double, float and float, int and int. Let us follow this. Can you please observe this max function? How many parameters it is taking? 2 of int type. What is its return value? It is again int. Is it a static method? Yes. So if I want to give a call to max function, is it going to be called with the help of math.max? Correct? So I'll just write here system.out.println max value is equal to, I'll just write math.max function. Maybe I'm passing some values, maybe 45 and 25. What value it should give me? It should give me 45, right? Next, again, if you see min, int comma int, so you can just copy this and I'm passing min value, any min value, maybe from 23 and I'm passing 40, any number. So it is going to give me min value. I'll use the function min, right? Next, there is power function also. So I'll go to sqrt. Okay, so can you see sqrt? Right. So I'll say sqrt. Maybe I'll write math. Guys, math is a class name dot method name sqrt. I'm passing 25.0. So square root of 25 आंसर देगा. Do I have to import java.math? No, java.math नाम का पैकेज नहीं है. Math is a class name specified in which package? java.lang. How I have reached? java.lang में गई थी और math class में गई थी. फिर math class के अंदर I'm referring to methods. Is it okay? There's power function also. PQRS, right? Somewhere P, right? Can you see power function? It is taking two values. It is giving me the value of first argument raised to the power to the second argument. Return type is double. Again, it's a static method. So I shall write here maybe power. Math.power function and I'm passing, I want 8 to the power 3. That's it. Let us execute this code and check the output. Are we getting the correct output as far as our method calling is there? Right. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Everyone? Perfect. In this scenario, if you say, in this case, if you just observe, सारे methods static है, मुझे पता है. But every time I have to write math dot something. Right. Now I'll copy this. And if I'm saying, अगर मुझे बार बार math.py नहीं लिखना है, math.max नहीं लिखना है, math.min, math.power, math.sqrt. If I do not have to write again and again the repetitive task, is my voice is lagging? I'll just check. Oh, it's so less. Let it get stable. It's 240 Mbps. So I think the voice is now okay. Someone have posted voice is lagging. Is it okay? All right. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead then. So if I do not want to write math.py, math.min, math.max, math.power, in that case, I'll say import java.lang.math. That is basically one package that I have imported. But can you see still it is giving me error? Pi cannot be resolved to the variable. Max is not available into this code. Min is also not there. Yes. So here I'll write import static java.lang.math. In this case, and I'll say dot star. इस particular class के सारे methods को statically आप import कर दीजिए so that I do not have to write again and again math dot something. इसी को हम बोलते हैं static import. While speaking it out, while interviews, while asking the question, we normally ask, what do you mean by static import? It means importing a class completely along with the methods. And normally when you go for this particular statement, when you know my class is having all the static methods, and instead of writing the repetitive number of times class name dot method name, we will import that class statically in our program. While speaking it out, we say, what do you mean by static import? But while writing, as you know, in this case, import static लिखते हैं because package में से हमें उस class के सारे methods को import करना है, इसलिए we write import statement. So import keyword must be first, static keyword must be second. If I just write import java.lang.math.star, still it will giving me error because ये सारे static methods है. Static methods को directly access करने के लिए I have to add a static keyword. Star indicates import all the methods from the class java.lang.math. Is it okay? Can you see? I'm getting the exact same output, but here my efforts have been reduced. Instead of writing math.something, I've just written this. Did you all get up to this point? Everyone. So that was the last part with the example called as static import. So if static members belonging to the different class, use the type name and the dot operator is mandatory. But let us say pi, power, they all belong to the math class. Then every time we should not write math.something. We should always go for java.lang.math.star. When you need frequent access of static fields or static method from one or the two classes, then prefixing the name is not good practice. That's why we go for import static and the class name. Have you all understood the meaning of static import? Right? So I will pause here and we can take first break. After the break, we will start with complete fresh topic, which is called as array. Right?